Chase. I'm the VP of Finance at Greenhouse. So Greenhouse is a functional health and wellness company. Started in 2014 producing cold pressed juices out of a single retail location in downtown Toronto, and we've since grown over the past 7 to 8 years to expand into other functional plant-based beverage categories and expanded our own store footprint along with distributing online and e-commerce and also to the grocery retail in Canada. So our mission is to provide widespread and sustainable access to plant-based nutrition and wellness, and so we're happily continuing on that journey. We started implementing the OKR process. It was 2018, 2019. We got to a size of the company where we realized that in order to continue growing at the scale we were growing at, we needed to get a lot more alignment across the teams. Identified OKRs as a great framework for us to implement from a strategy execution standpoint. Did all our own research, read John Doerr's Measure What Matters, read a bunch of white papers on what OKRs were, how to implement them, best practices, and so we rolled it out. Q1 2020 was our first real quarter of OKRs, and then obviously the pandemic hit, and so it was definitely an interesting time for us where we had this framework and we could have just binned it all, but we stuck with it given we did find it so helpful in really aligning all the different stakeholders across the company and what the real objectives were of the company for those quarters. We've managed to successfully sort of continue the OKR process, and one of the platforms that we used to start with was GTM Hub, but we realized it was somewhat limited in its functionality. We weren't finding that we had that level of engagement through GTM Hub that allowed us to really drive our meetings using the OKR framework. There's a lot of projects and tasks that weren't being captured in the software, and so it was through those sort of gaps that we realized we needed to transition to a better software. That was how we ended up with Profit. We started with a single retail shop in downtown Toronto, and we expanded our footprint. So now we have 7 of our own retail shops and a couple of hybrid shops with some grocery retail partners. But then in 2018, we transitioned to focus more on wholesale, while also expanding our e-commerce and online presence. Once you had sort of stakeholders across those different channels and you're operating in an omni-channel environment, which is for a brand like ours is definitely the best way to grow quickly and at scale. But then you have a lot of competing interests between the different channels. And then also for supporting functions like operations or myself in finance and marketing, there's a lot of different competing priorities across the business. As you know, should the focus be on pushing the grocery retail channel or on the e-commerce channel? And how do we prioritize what tasks and projects need to get done? And so through OKRs, we're able to sort of define those priorities, set the right metrics that we should be measuring, and then helping to drive what the initiatives are to achieve those metrics for the company as a whole, and not just have individual department owners driving what the priorities of the other sort of supporting functions are. One thing we did well up front was we said it was going to be a learning process, and we weren't going to get it right the first time, and we were hoping to we knew it was going to take us at least 3 to 4 quarters to really start getting it humming, and just over communication was really key, where it's just really reinforcing the OKRs. And I think at the start it really helped align everyone's thoughts as to what the 3 to 4 main objectives were each quarter. Where we were falling short was finding the key metrics to measure those objectives. And I think as we started going through the process, we've got better and better. And we're still kind of working through it, but we're getting better and better at saying, okay, here's our objective, but how are we really measuring us achieving that objective? And so there's definitely, there's still a really high level of engagement, and there's still those conversations that are happening every quarter and really everyone's challenging each other to find those metrics. What we really wanted was a software that our users would be logging in every day, and that would be driving what they're doing on a daily basis. So with Profit, we said, okay, it's got the task module, which is really great. It has all the different types of key results. So there's the milestone key results, task-based key results, and your KPIs. That's what we were really looking for, especially the task-based key results, being able to track progress on projects across the company and being able to measure those. And so with those additional functionalities, we're able to really embed Profit into our weekly, monthly, and quarterly meetings, which has helped drive the implementation and move a lot of the action logs and task lists as well that happen across the company, so that users are logging into it on a daily basis to understand what they need to do every day. It's been great overall. What I found really helpful was support chat. So I've been in charge of rolling out the implementation. So I selected Profit and kind of told the team this is what we're going with. So typically when that happens, you get a lot of people firing questions to you, and just a lot of the more mundane asks and troubleshooting issues flow my way. But I found that hasn't really happened, and I've gotten a lot of good feedback of when I type an issue in the support chat, it's very timely. I get to the answer really quickly and can sort out the issue in a timely manner, which has been really good to hear from the team. We've also had a number of kickoff calls and training calls. So we've had a couple as part of our implementation package, which has been really useful from helping identify, areas where we aren't using Profit in the most optimal way, or little hacks that we can embed into our Profit usage on a day-to-day basis. So that's been really helpful. And then we've also had a couple of calls with the development team where they've been really open and receptive to some of the items that we've raised. What it's really helped with is being able to communicate in a lot quicker and a lot more effective manner. An example I would give is the check-ins and getting notified to your reports check-ins, where typically you'd have a meeting, or you'd find out through an email about an issue that had happened. Whereas now I can see, okay, I see somebody's checked in, I can see what that KPI is, I can reply in a comment, you can have a conversation all within Profit. As opposed to setting up a meeting, a half-hour meeting, which I think everyone's tired of Zoom and Google Meets and on all that during the day. So it's being able to avoid those conversations, or coming to those conversations really well prepared already, because everyone knows all the information. You can come with solutions as opposed to really diagnosing the problem. So it's really helped and been super effective from that point of view.